What's up, my fit friend? Welcome to my deadlift technique video where I'm going to teach you all of the tips that I've learned and used over the years to increase my deadlift strength without getting hurt. I'm going to be talking about and demonstrating the traditional barbell deadlift, which is where you pick up the weight from the floor using a barbell. This is going to come in handy not only in the gym, but when you're picking things off the floor like a couch, a chair, or a table. Now, on the other hand, there is a Romanian deadlift, and that's where you start with the weight in your hands and then you lower the weight towards the floor and then stand back up. In the traditional barbell deadlift, you're gonna pick the weight up off the floor, stand up, and then lower it back down. First, I'm gonna talk about the setup. So I wanna make sure that you have a good grip with your hands and a good stance with your feet. Let's start with the feet. We're gonna make sure that we are about shoulder width apart. That's where you're gonna be your strongest. You can either have your toes pointing forward or you can turn them out slightly. Now, if you're not sure where shoulder width apart is, or if you want to get very precise with your stance, a cool trick that I learned to find the right stance for my deadlift is to stand with your feet as wide as they would be if you were going to jump in the air. So basically, that's the most powerful position that your feet are going to be in. If you just stand back like this, take one step forward, plant the other foot, and then pretend to jump, or you can even jump, maybe not in front of the bar, but that's gonna be where you're most powerful. So for me, this is the distance between my feet that I'm going to use. I'm gonna stand up to the bar pretty close. I do like the bar close to my shins. That's how I was taught. That's just what I like to do. If you want the bar a little bit further from your shins, that's okay. But from here, I'm gonna bring my hands down to the bar. I like to wrap my hands around the grooves of the bar here. So I basically take my thumb and my index finger and I wrap them around both sides of the bar, so it's gonna be an equal position in both of my hands. So this is where I'm gonna set up with my hands and my feet to start my deadlift. Next, I wanna make sure that before I even move the bar, my chest is going to be up and my butt is going to be down. So it looks a little bit like this. You don't want this. You don't want your chest facing the floor. You want your chest up as much as possible. Now, before we actually do the lift, I want you to think of something that's very important, because I don't want you to jerk the bar up. That's gonna put strain on your back. That's gonna make the weight heavier than it actually is. So a concept that I want you to think of is taking the click out of the bar. You may not be able to hear it when I do it, but I'm gonna show you, and then when you get to a barbell with some weights on it and you try this method, you're definitely gonna know what I'm talking about. So when you find your stance and you find your grip, you're gonna get your chest up, keep your arms straight. You're not going to lift the weight off the ground right now, but you're gonna pull up on the bar until you hear a click, and then you feel the bar get very sturdy. So it's a little bit loose right now, but when you pull the click out, the bar gets very stiff and sturdy. Now you're ready to start. You're gonna drive your feet into the floor, stand up tall, and squeeze your glutes. Then you're gonna lower back down. You may have noticed it was a little loud when I let the bar down, and I basically let the bar go down with gravity and then it slammed on the floor. That's perfectly fine, especially when you start to get stronger and you're lifting heavier weights. One of the biggest mistakes that I used to make when I first got into deadlifting and I started to lift heavier than I maybe should have, I would slowly lower the bar down with control like this, which would put a lot of strain on my lower back, and it ended up causing a lot of pain. As long as you're at a gym with a lifting station, or if you're at a gym with mats like this, then you want to actually let the bar drop, but don't let go of it completely. So it may make a little bit of noise, but I'm going to let the bar go with gravity, and I'm going to follow it with my hands. The reason I don't like people just dropping it like that is because if you do drop it and it comes backwards and hits your shins, that's going to hurt. It could cause injury. It's a really lame way to get hurt and have to sit out for a week or two because you got smashed with a barbell. So I highly recommend getting used to following the weight down, but not using your muscles to slowly lower it down like this. This is okay right now because the weight's pretty light as I demonstrate this, but as it gets heavier, it's really gonna put a lot of strain on my lower back and I'm not gonna like it. So I'll show you again, it's gonna be loud. I lift back up. I pull the click out of the bar each time. I'm standing up tall with my chest. I'm taking the click out, keeping my arms straight, driving my feet into the floor like I'm trying to stomp a hole into the floor. Stand up tall, lower back down. Remember, if you don't have a floor that's soft enough to take the brunt of the weight, then maybe don't lift quite as heavy. Just going through the motions, it's still going to be beneficial, but wait until you're at a place with good floors. If you are in your basement with something soft, I don't want you to ruin anything. So take it easy, be patient, make sure to keep your chest up, find a good stance, take the click out of the bar, and let the gravity pull the bar down as you follow it.